9 podcasts.
Oh, this may be my favourite DM of all time. I had a date turn up. He looked nothing like his pic. He was about 10 years older. Partway through the coffee, he pulls out his...
Try before you die.
Lib, I thought when you popped your phone there, you've positioned your phone as if you're filming yourself.
Yeah,
I was
you gave me
suspect.
a really weird look. I've just sat it there because I'm going to read a screenshot in a moment.
Oh, wonderful. It's not like you to be so prepared.
Well, it's part of a segment that we did discuss we were doing, so...
I know, but it's not like you to be so organised and ready to go.
I
Normally
feel like
you
it is.
cluster about.
What the hell? I'm always ready. You're the one that clusters about. What are you
That's
talking
fair.
about?
I got myself mixed up with you.
Good God.
Hey, I want to circle back.
We like a circle back.
It's time to circle back. It's time to tie up a loose end.
Mm-hmm.
We love doing things like fun facts and what's the other one we do?
Dingleberries?
No, yeah, dingleberries and hot tips.
Hot tips.
We almost need a circle back sting or a loose end sting, but
Oh,
that's going
God.
too far.
It's probably my turn to make one next.
Yeah, they're professional stings, aren't they?
I'll come back to you with mine.
Do you know how I'm circle
back.
circle back with a circle back
Circle
sting?
back with a
Do you know
circle
how
back.
I do it? I do a voice note and then put background music and effects on it.
Good for you. I'll do
Yeah.
mine my own way.
Okay. I look forward to you not doing that. Yeah, so I know you've all been waiting with bated breath for this circle back. Can you catch a cold from the cold,
Oh,
Liv?
Jesus.
No, seriously, it's a good knowledge to have.
No, I know, but I laugh at the fact that you think that people have been hanging by a thread to hear the results of that one.
Well, I feel like people would be shocked to know this. I feel like it's a myth that if you're cold, you get a cold. Like,
Well,
I feel like...
that's what our parents used to tell us, so it's their fault.
No, they did not used to tell us that.
Mate, where would I have got that from?
There was a weird thing that you said the other episode. You said if you go from hot to cold,
Yes.
hot to cold, you get a cold.
Yes, because remember Mum and Dad would be like, oh, you know, you're in the heated house and then you go outside, you're going to catch a cold.
This is one of those, Father Christmas won't come if you're naughty.
Oh, exactly. So I'm
Yeah.
not making it up. It's come from somewhere.
Yeah, it's come from the mythical, magical land
okay.
of parent
The
crap,
the unicorn.
bribery, things that parents use to make sure you don't do naughty things.
Yeah. Anyway, let's crack on to the actual findings.
And also, our dad's a doctor, so like that makes him look incompetent. That is not a factual fact that he put to us.
To be fair, I think it was more Mum.
So, can you catch a cold from the cold? No, you cannot catch a cold just from being cold. Colds are caused by viruses, not by cold weather. While cold weather might make you feel a bit more vulnerable, it doesn't directly cause you to get sick. You need to be exposed to a virus to catch a cold. And then just an added layer to that, Lib, which I thought was interesting. What the cold can cause, though, is frostbite and hypothermia.
Oh, no shit, Sherlock.
And if you get frostbite or hypothermia, this can weaken the immune system, which leaves you more at risk of getting illnesses such as the common cold and or the flu. So it's kind of multi-layered, Lib.
Where did you get this information from? Because I actually Googled the same thing and it came up with AI response. I reckon
Yeah.
that's where you've got that from,
Yeah.
not an actual legit website.
No, but I feel like that's what comes up always now when you Google, the AI response. But I always do a backup Google.
Okay.
But the AI response is always succinct and
it is very good.
gorgeous.
It is.
So I felt confident bringing that information from AI to this
Okay.
podcast table. But the moral of the story is stay warm, guys.
How
you know?
truly, truly wonderful. I'm so glad we covered that off.
Which is difficult because with the cost of living and the cold weather, particularly in Melbourne at the moment, it's difficult to stay warm, isn't it?
It is. You just need to chuck a beanie on, some gloves, some boots, a couple
Yeah.
of coats, some thermals.
Some thermals.
I haven't put thermals on yet, actually. That's something I need to be doing.
So that was our little public service announcement for you all.
Now, I've got something a bit funnier and a bit better than what you've just covered.
Rightio. Big call.
Oh, this is truly, truly mortifying. Eliza and I went to this charity ball very recently and we were sat on a table with these lovely older ladies. We were the youngest by, I reckon, probably 30 years.
Oh my God, that is so offensive. That is not the case
No.
at all.
They were definitely older though.
There was a couple that were older. There were some mums there, Liv. My God, if you're on the
anyway.
table, I'm so sorry. You're all beautiful and
That is an
That's-
exaggeration because that would mean that, there
30
wasn't
years.
anyone
Under
younger
70.
than 66.
Yeah.
Which is very, very untrue. Anywho, we walk into this venue, huge room. Everyone is sipping on bubbles. Everyone's got buckets of champagne on their tables
However,
throughout the room.
what you need to add is that we're a little bit late. And everyone was sort of waiting in the foyer but also being seated at the same time. And everyone had champagnes in hand. So I was like, oh, they've done a roaming champagne, which we've missed out on, which I was devastated about.
Is anyone shocked by the fact that we were late?
Or that I'm taking over this story.
I don't even feel like that was necessary to add in. But
It was because I was like, oh, champagne's a goer here.
Okay. So I wasn't drinking, but Eliza was keen for a glass of bubs. So by the time we got to the table, we sort of said hi to everyone. And then there was a bucket of champagne sort of directly in front of me. And Eliza was like, oh, this is a nice little surprise. Having worked in events like this kind of thing, it was a bottle of Mum, I'll say, which is a lovely bottle of champagne.
I was like, wow.
Yeah,
This
because-
is a upmarket event.
Yeah,
I'm
because
excited to have a sip.
I've worked in events and I've actually done events at this venue, and usually you just get like a basic wine
bubbles.
package, house everything, wine, beer, champagne. But I was like, wow, they're offering beautiful Mum champagne at this event. How lovely. So Eliza grabs the champagne, pours herself a glass.
Because we all have empty champagne glasses.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is a go. I looked around at the tables. Everyone had buckets of champagne on their tables.
Yeah,
Like,
as I've aforementioned.
Yeah. I just wanted to make that very clear.
Anyway, takes a sip. Next minute, these lovely older ladies sitting next to me lean over and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. We actually purchased that bottle. Just the three of us, like in
God.
our friendship group, there was three of them together. You actually do have to pay if you want the more expensive champagne because there is just the basic beverage package. Oh, I wanted to crawl in a hole
offered
and die
to pour it back in the bottle.
after you'd taken a sip.
Well, no, I went to take a sip, but I didn't. And they were like, oh, that's actually our champagne. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And sort of, I was so awkward. I didn't know what to do. I sort of grabbed the bottle back to pour it back in. And I was like, oh, this is
Yeah, but your lips had
hectic.
touched the glass, regardless of whether, But that is so embarrassing. And I get it because I probably would have done the same thing, but also
Oh, it was just, and I was like, can I please get you a, fresh bottle? And they're like, no, we do, that's fine. Like weren't sure we were going to get through it anyway, but I think they were just saying that to be nice.
But they were so lovely. Like
So
they would
sweet.
genuinely would not have cared, but
that is such an Eliza thing to do, isn't it?
yeah.
Like that is so povo.
And this was literally within the first 5 minutes of us getting there, and we had another 4 or 5 hours with these people, and you trying to suck up their anuses.
I know, and I was
to
like,
make
scared
up for
to
it.
then reach for anything. Like
Yeah.
the food that was placed in front of me, I was like, is this actually mine? It was horrific. But what I will say about that whole event was that we had a handful across the night of people coming up saying they listened to the podcast, and it was just my life's joy.
I can't explain how that feels.
I know.
It's unlike anything when people are like, I love your podcast, I listen to you guys. It never gets old, the feeling of
That's
that.
better
It's
than someone
amazing.
saying, oh, you're stunning.
Which
I've never
happens.
experienced, but I imagine that would be a better feeling. I want to now cover off some wonderful, that's your favourite word, Lib, wonderful first date stories we received from listeners. And what was that on the back of? Oh,
The farmer wants a wife, try the line that we did.
yes, because on a date, the farmer and his suitor thought they might be related.
Yeah.
What a nightmare for a first date. An interesting DM I want to start with, and we'll keep these anonymous,
Yeah.
of course. Lib, you spotted this and I think you swiped on by. You acknowledged it, but I was like, oh, this is screenshot and discussion gear. Girls, check out the burned haystack dating method if you haven't already. The burned haystack dating method. You replied, will do. You clearly didn't.
I don't even remember reading this. That's awful.
So, here's a bit of AI for us, okay? The burned haystack dating method is a metaphor for a more selective and active approach to online dating, particularly for women. It encourages users to filter out potential matches early and aggressively, essentially burning down the haystack to make it easier to find the needle. or in other words, a compatible partner. This involves blocking or quickly dismissing men who exhibit certain red flags like focusing on appearance or sending unwanted sexual messages.
Oh my God, I do this anyway.
I was going to say, I'm a burned haystacker.
Oh, I don't even get to the point of when they can talk about appearance because I just swipe on by pretty
You don't
much
swipe,
everyone.
Angel, so
No,
you
I
can't
don't.
even enter in this
But I
discussion.
have done previously.
Isn't that funny? I'm a burned haystacker.
Yeah. That's
I don't think it's a good thing. I think it means you're only leaving the door very slightly ajar.
yes, but also that's what apps are, unfortunately. Apps are about first impressions.
They are, but I think if I allowed every red flag to dictate my swiping, I'd never swipe yes on anyone because I'd be like, oh, man jewelry, oh, smokes, that's a deal breaker.
Imagine how many haystacks we've been in, though. Oh, imagine
Do you
these
reckon?
swipes that people have done on us and burnt us.
What? I've got no baggage. Sorry. What? Bar if you've
It
seen...
ain't about baggage. Oh, my God. Have you listened to yourself? How
No, but-
judgmental you are. How, you're so picky and...
Excuse you. I'm talking
Sorry.
about... Excuse you. Dating apps,
No, I will
right?
not excuse myself.
Dating apps.
Yeah.
What comes up that's glaringly swipe left about
No,
me?
but I'm just saying, if people know who you are or have heard
yeah,
about
that's-
you, they know exactly what you're like.
Obviously, knowing the real me is a giant red flag.
Yeah.
But if you don't, on an app, I come across as quite an appealing individual, not because I'm catfishing.
Yeah, you're gaslighting people.
No, I'm not catfishing or
Catfishing.
gaslighting, but you just haven't seen the gutter at me yet. But I think that could
Which
be...
is you 95% of the time.
Yeah, but like, to know me is to
To love
me.
all of me.
Yeah.
Okay. Ugh, that's
Here's the
very
next
foggy.
one.
To know me is to love me. That
Yeah.
means like everyone that knows
No,
you should love
to know
you.
me
That's
is to
what
love
it
me
means.
for me. No, to know me is to love me for me.
Well, that's not what you said. You said to know me is to love me.
Yeah, to know me is to love me for me. Like, to know
Okay.
me
Well,
is...
thank
I
you for
don't mean-
clarifying because you didn't say that first.
I know, but I'm not saying if you know me, you love me.
Well, that's what that means.
No, I'm just... If you know me, if you've gotten to know me and you stick around, it's to love me for me.
Yeah, if you stick around is
Yeah.
the key word there. How many actually stick around?
Yeah.
Not many.
As when I have too many friends
Yeah,
live.
God, okay, should we move on?
Next one.
Yeah.
Hey, gals. Thought I'd share my heinous Tinder dating story. Went on a first date with a guy who seemed like a bit of a wanker, but you got to give things a proper go, right? She ain't a burnt haystacker.
And also, well done you for giving things a go.
Yeah, because that would have been, if you're getting wanker vibes, if you're a burned haystacker dater, you're like swiping left. Anyway, good on you for giving it a go. Having said that, maybe she shouldn't have. We get to the dumplings place where he proclaimed to be the master of menu selection and insisted on choosing our food.
See, that in isolation is a turn on, I reckon. I love someone who takes control and wants to choose the food.
Yeah, takes control, but there's another thing to be like, I am the master of
Oh,
menu
yeah.
selection, and then not allowing you
Yes,
to
oh,
contribute.
absolutely.
But being like, is there anything you want?
Or are you
Because-
happy for me to just
Are
order?
you happy for me to... Oh,
Heaven.
stunning.
Yeah.
Okay. My answer to that would be, I am the menu
Yes,
picker.
'cause
Thank you very
do
much.
That even on our family thing,
Yeah,
family dinners,
feeds.
sister dinners.
So this lady said, I appeased him and let him select the food. Things didn't go smoothly from there. First, he knocked the soy sauce over on the table and doused my purse. Then he got sloppy jalopy. God, I love
Oh,
that
no.
reference. Because you know how we
Sloppy
talk in
jalopy,
rhymes.
yeah, we'll use that.
Then he
I
got
like that a
sloppy jalopy after a few glasses of red and knocked the bottle of wine over, which landed on my lap and ruined my dress. He just sat there like a stunned mullet. When the bill came and we went to pay on the
no.
way out, he told the waiter to split the bill. In my head, I was like, mate, you've ruined my appetite, purse, and
Yeah.
my dress, and you can't even pay the bill. He asked me to come back to his place. It was an absolute no from me.
Ew. I mean, you can forgive the soy sauce because that's like the first thing, mistake, knocked it over. But then getting what was it?
Sloppy
sloppy jalopy, and knocking over the wine, like, nah, yuck.
But also then what I would be saying is, oh my gosh, can I pay to have
Yes,
your
dress
dress
dry
dry
cleaned.
cleaned?
I'll buy
There's
you a new Chanel
redemption-
purse.
Yeah, there's always a redemption arc.
Yeah.
But this man did not create his
No.
redemption arc. I get you nervous and stuff, but where you also could have redeemed yourself is to shout the dinner.
Like you did with the vomit on the carpet story. You paid for carpet cleaners and
I sent carpet cleaners in
beers.
and I sent a case of beers for their entire house. Oh my God, that is so triggering, Liv. I've just had a little
So sorry.
mini stroke thinking about it. Now, Lib, I'm all about equality in this day and age, but I will say it is nice when the guy shouts on a first date.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially if they've ruined your clothes. That's kind of a given,
God,
isn't it?
yeah, absolutely.
But it's not a deal breaker if you don't pay.
Yeah.
If they don't pay, but it definitely wins you brownie points.
Yeah, I agree. And even just offering, I don't know.
Can I also say that if I have gone out to dinner with someone and I know I never plan to see them again, if I've got the ick or whatever, I will insist on splitting the bill because I think that's so mean if they pay and you know
You
you're
feel
about
like you've
to
used them.
Yes.
Agree.
Yeah. That's a little hot tip
Yeah.
to make sure that blokes don't feel bad if you're never going to see them again.
Yeah.
Go halves with them in the bill. That ain't nice. Don't just get a free din-dins.
I have a couple of DMs here
I've got
as well.
one more.
Oh, no. Okay.
This is short and sweet though, I promise. And I am absolutely dead at this one. This may be my favourite DM of all time. I had a date turn up. He looked nothing like his pic. He was about 10 years older. Partway through the coffee, he pulls out his front teeth and puts them on the table. No second date required. And then she says, he was shocked when I didn't respond to his requests to get together again. Do you know what? In that situation, I would not ghost. I don't know if this lady ghosted. I don't know if she means she ghosted him by not responding.
Say, I just didn't like how you pulled out your front teeth and put them on the table, so I can't see you again.
No, I would say I just wasn't feeling it. Because that's true. I wasn't feeling it because you pulled out your front fangs.
Because the thing is,
and they were staring at me all feed.
I don't have a problem with people having clip-in teeth. Like Brendan Favola has clip-in teeth that he often takes in and out on his radio show. But to get them out, what was the purpose of him getting them out and putting them on the table?
Maybe he can only eat with them out or something.
Or maybe he doesn't want to stain them with his coffee.
Yeah,
and so he's
his
just
wine.
But also weird.
Sorry, but you had retainers at one point. So did I. We had Invisalign.
Yeah.
Never in a million years would you wear them out on a date and take them out and put them in your bag. Like, it would offend me when we'd be out publicly and we'd be having coffee and you would take them out and put them in your bag. But on a date, you would just never, ever, ever do that. But people just
retainers are different to teeth.
That's true. That's so true.
What if you're going to rock on, you're like,
But some people
I
just
took my teeth out because I didn't want to take them out in front of you.
Liv was doing some imitation gear there that nobody should ever see. But if you
That's
do want to
weird though,
see
yeah.
it, go to i9 Now or iYouTube. Now, because our episodes are streaming on those two platforms, just type in "Try Before You Die." But some people just don't really they just don't have an awareness of etiquette.
No etiquette whatsoever.
Your turn.
Okay, mine aren't as sort of funny as yours, which is why I thought I'll just go in the middle and then we'll finish on a high with yours. But
you didn't let me know
anywho,
about that plan, so
this one's just a bit of a lull. A guy kept moving tables and seat positions in the pub. It was very weird. He didn't seem to be able to get comfortable. I just think that's bizarre because, like, if you were the person sitting opposite, you would just be like, what's going on?
So what? He was like, I don't feel good here. Can we go here? Can we go here? Can we go here? Can we go
Well,
here?
that's all she wrote.
Yeah, okay. Well,
So
I
I'm
would
not
have,
sure.
if that was me, the comprehensive
So you would have
sister.
written back, thank you so much for sending that. So did he
Yeah.
go, I'll just move here and I'll just get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have liked a little bit. In fact, I would have appreciated maybe a voice note. I would have said, can you put that in a voice note? Can you film a video of what exactly happened? Reconstruct?
Okay. I just think that actually would make you feel so incredibly uncomfortable, I reckon.
But
wouldn't
maybe
it?
that's
like
a
a tick kind of a
well,
thing.
or like a sensory
Sensory
thing.
yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know. You just never know.
And then the other one is I'm struggling to sort of understand this because there's not a huge amount of context. But anyway, I've been chatting to this guy via text and phone calls for a bit. Our first date, he was an hour late. That is so rude.
That's
first
so
of all.
rude. You wouldn't wait around for an hour.
And then casually said, so your mum died of what cancer? She didn't die of cancer, but just the way he said it, I was like, nope, you're out.
I don't understand that. So
I don't understand that either.
Again, would we have gone back and got further
Yeah,
clarification?
I know, but I just thought the message was just quite funny. But yeah, so they obviously hadn't been chatting about how her mum had died of cancer, but he had just, do you know what? It's probably that he'd been chatting to someone else whose mum
And he
died of
got mixed
cancer and he
up.
got mixed up.
So wait, sorry. So Her mum hadn't even passed away.
So your mum died of cancer. She wrote she didn't die of cancer, but just the way he said it, I was like,
Oh,
no,
no, but
you're right.
maybe
So
they
we don't
were
know if
talking-
she even
Liv,
passed away.
This is very confusing.
Anyway,
No,
you're
but
making it more confusing.
It made it sound like they were talking about how her mum had passed away.
well, no, that's not what she said.
No, she said, my mum didn't pass away of cancer. Like, maybe she passed away of something else.
Well, she didn't say she'd passed away at all. She just said,
Well,
my
I think
mum
we
didn't
can all
pass
take
away
our
from
individual. I just think on a first date, it's never okay to sort of like pry
Bring
too
up
heavily with
about-
that stuff. That
Agree.
stuff you need to be sensitive.
Agree.
But people do get mixed up if they're dating multiple people.
Well, that's what I
They
mean.
do
So
get
imagine if
mixed
he's
up.
been chatting to people and chatting to someone about their mum passing away of cancer and he's got mixed up and rocked up at the date and being like, but also not very, etiquette friendly to just when you rock up an hour late be like,
Yeah.
oh, say, what did your mum die of? Like, oh, have some empathy.
We don't know what part of the date this conversation took place. That's a question I probably would have asked Rich,
Oh,
our producer.
I'm so sorry. I don't have much time. You have a bit more time on your hands than I do.
all right. Yeah, Miss Busy. I've got to get to the gym at 5 a.m. every day.
Well,
Anyway.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I take my health very seriously.
Yeah. Great segue to try the line.
We play some audio here, a line or a quote from a reality TV show, and then we have to guess the next line. We are still 2-2 in the Dingleberry scores. Our producers have picked the audio we're about to hear. This is from Love Triangle Australia, Season 3. We watched that. We binged watched that, didn't we?
Thoroughly enjoyed.
This is from Jasmine Burke as she entered the Love Triangle and met Bernie for the first time. Bernie was a dick.
He was a douche lord.
Let's play the audio.
Hi, I'm Jazz. Nice to meet you. I brought you a present.
Okay, so she bought him a present. So this is the first time they are meeting.
I think taking any type of gift on a first date is a bit icky.
I feel like that is so weird. The only time I think it's acceptable is if, let's say you're going around to a house, which you shouldn't do on a first date anyway, because
No.
#danger. But
Stranger danger.
stranger danger. But if you were taking a bottle of wine
Yes.
or, a food item that's part of your experience, like you've done the park thing where you've had cheese and wine or whatever.
Chocolate coated strawberries,
Oh,
like
that's quite weird. Chocolate coated strawberries.
like lube, stuff like that.
Yeah. But anything else, and I'm a bit creeped out and I reckon like waving the red flag right away.
Well, no, it's not enough to cut someone off, but it's a lot.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, I did. And so having said that, I've never received a gift at any date.
Neither.
So I would not know if I would get the ick, but I imagine I would find it too much. Like imagine if you went to a first date from an app and they were standing there with a huge bunch of flowers.
That's what, how would you feel with flowers or like imagine a little plant or a cactus or something?
Oh, Liv, that's so rude. That's
Oh,
mean.
sorry. So I'm not allowed to say
I
if
don't-
they were standing there with a plant, it'd be cringe, but you're allowed to say if someone was standing there with a bunch of flowers, it's cringe.
I just don't think it
Oh.
deserved convulsions.
Do you know what? Once again, I'm allowed to have my
Yeah.
opinion and that would make me ick. So if you're dating me, which will be no one ever, don't bring me a plant or flowers on my first date. I don't care about gifts. In fact, write me a nice card. Not on the first date, but maybe on the
Yeah.
4th or 5th.
Yeah, a love letter, a poem. Oh my God, what about those dating shows where you watch and the guy or the girl cracks out a guitar and starts singing a song? That's worse than a gift. That is worse than a gift.
And I also just feel like on a first date, maybe you've been speaking on an app or something like that, but you don't even know if you're going to connect really
No.
with that person. So you might not even want to see them again. So whilst I appreciate the effort and the energy that's gone in, I also don't feel like that's a thing.
We will get to the answer of this in a second, but that's try the line I'm referring to. But how would you feel? I feel terrible saying this, but when I'm watching The Bachelor, etc., and I'm sitting there and someone reads someone a poem, is there ever a time when reading someone a poem or receiving a poem is not ick
I'll tell you when that's okay. Maybe when you're getting engaged.
or married at your
Or
wedding?
at your wedding.
Yeah, I'm there with that answer.
How many dates do you reckon it would take for it to be acceptable to get a gift? To accept a gift in a loving way and not be creeped out?
4.
I agree. And do you know what I would appreciate? If it was something that we'd been chatting about or that we have in common. Let's say I like an author. If they then bought me a
Yes.
book from that author or a food item that I really
Yes.
like or
Yes.
something that's like a bit of a conversation starter or that you have, in common, which shows that they're listening and they
Yes.
care and they're attentive.
Because what you don't need to do on a first date is bring a gift, but what you can do is, yes, listen. And maybe, if you know someone likes Greek food, choose a Greek place.
Just
you know?
little things like that. If they're buying me jewelry or lingerie or something like that, it's a huge no from me.
Not for the first 6 months.
I was on a Reddit forum about this and someone asked,
Oh, you did research for the first time.
I'm literally the only one that ever does research.
Yeah, okay.
And someone wrote, is that weird to give him a handmade gift on our first date?
Oh, it's weird to give him a handmade gift ever.
I was like, oh, good God.
Are we being judgmental and rude and stuff?
But also, what are you making? Like a paper mache
Maybe
animal or like a bracelet or
card,
like
yeah,
a
maybe a-
knitted scarf?
Yeah, maybe they've needed something or a Taylor Swift type bracelet situation.
You can do that, but keep it at home maybe until like the 4th or 5th date.
Having said that, on our fave show, Love on the Spectrum, they do exchange gifts on the first date, and it's a
that's so
wonderful
sweet.
icebreaker and conversation starter.
No.
So, I don't know. Maybe don't knock it till you try it, and we haven't tried it. Okay, my answer to that question, do you remember this?
No, I don't. And so
Okay.
I just literally made it up.
Okay, you go first then, because I think I'm getting a dingle.
So what present did Jazz bring for Bernie? I've said, I bought you a photo frame so you can put a picture of us in it.
Wow, that's specific and random and super creepy.
I know, but I was going for something creepy.
She brought you, this will ring bells, she brought a giant sushi platter.
Oh.
Do you not remember that?
Nah.
It was like enough to feed an army. Is there audio to listen to here? That's the point. Okay.
Let's listen to the audio.
Sushi train. There you go.
Do the
That's
laugh.
a dingleberry. Dingleberry. Thank you very much, 3 to
Well
Eliza.
done.
Do you just not have your eyes open when we watch shows? That was such a monumental part
I've
of
been
that.
having a few migraine episodes and I reckon
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
affecting my brain.
This Thursday, we'll be back. Aren't you excited?
Mm-hmm. Always.
We are trying to not be self-deprecating, which sounds easy, but honestly and truly abusing ourselves has become a default setting,
It's become like second nature.
which is sad and probably not okay. So we legit have to reprogram ourselves. So we're going to try and put aside a chunk of time where we don't talk down to ourselves.
This is literally for us overhauling the way we talk to ourselves like minute by minute. Every single day, completely reshaping our lives, day-to-day lives, because all we seem to do at the moment is talk negatively about ourselves,
Yep.
have negative thoughts about ourselves, and it's become quite a problem.
I think we've lost sight of when it's okay and fun and funny and when it's actually a bit unwell.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how this one unfolds. And I think it's going to be quite an eye-opener.
Me too. In the meantime, follow Try Before You Diet wherever you get your potties. And follow us on Instagram, Eliza and Liberty. We will see you on Thursday.
Send us some good DMs and Liberty will respond with further questions.
As I mentioned, I don't have much time. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Try before you die.